Hello everybody, my name is KingStix. Today I want to talk to you about some interesting changes coming up in patch 8.11. These changes, added items, and runes are subject to change, so they might be tweaked a little bit here and there before they are officially released next patch. This should give you the general idea of what is going to be happening. The first thing I want to talk about is a new rune that's being added for the domination tree. It's called Ultimate Hunter. Currently, domination tree is struggling to hold its own as a primary tree unless you're an assassin who plays in the jungle, similar to Kha'Zix, Kayn, or Rengar. Other than that, very few people can manage to take domination unless they really need that electrocute. The rest of the domination tree is rarely taken as a secondary tree, so they're trying to give it some extra oomph with Ultimate Hunter, which gives your ultimate 5% reduced cooldown plus an additional 2% per bounty. This is to rival how strong sorcery is as a secondary tree, because currently sorcery is the best secondary tree in League of Legends hands down. This is the domination's version of Ultimate Hat. This is a step in the right direction, but adding this rune alone won't make domination enticing enough for people like AD carries to start taking it as a secondary tree. The next rune that is being added is Nimbus Cloak, and it is for the sorcery tree. This rune scares me a little bit. This rune is meant to be used with your ultimate, so after using your ultimate, you get bonus movement speed for 3 seconds. The bonus movement speed is 100, and it's on a 60-second cooldown, which is reasonable. The only reason why it spooks me a little bit is because champions like Udyr and Jace, they could easily take this in their secondary tree and be very hard to deal with. For example, if you're fighting Udyr in the jungle, very few people can 1v1 him if he takes press the attack or if he takes lethal tempo. Right when he gets on you and you try to run away, he's going to switch over to Phoenix stance and he's going to gun you down. Moving at 100 movement speed for 3 seconds is a pretty big deal. I assume they're going to have to tweak this and make it to where it scales with your level. That way people who start out with their ultimates like Jace, Karma, Udyr can't abuse this too hard. An interesting item that's going to be added next patch is called Atma's Reckoning. I made 2 mistakes in this video. Atma's Reckoning and Spear of Shogun are actually going to be released on patch 8.12, so not patch 8.11, but anyways, Atma's Reckoning, it'll be giving 25 attack damage, 30 armor, and 30 magic resist. The item itself doesn't give that impressive of stats. It only gives 25 AD, 30 armor, and 30 magic resist. Paying 2,900 gold for an item like that doesn't seem like it's worth it. However, it's similar to Rageblade, where the stats it gives aren't that important, but the unique passive that it has makes it what it is. Its unique passive is for each second that you're in combat with an enemy champion, turret, or epic monster, you gain attack damage equal to 0.5% of your maximum health, up to 2.5%. So if you're in combat with a champion, turret, or epic monster for 5 seconds, you'll get up to a maximum of 2.5% of your health as AD. To give you guys an idea of what this looks like, if you have 3000 HP and then you build this item, after you've been in combat with the turret, champion, or epic monster for 5 seconds, you'll be getting 75 bonus AD. Not very game breaking, not nearly as strong as Rageblade is. I can't see many champions actually building this item because it doesn't give you any health, so you'd have to naturally be a very tanky champion like Sion for this to maybe pay off, but I feel like there's just way better items. For how expensive this is, I'd say it's definitely not worth it. Brawlers gloves are becoming a lot more expensive, moving from 400 gold up to 600. You can suck on that, Yasuo mains. I'm sick and tired of seeing you. But not only that, the critical strike chance is now going to be unique passive. So if you weren't quite sure what item you wanted to build, or if you just wanted to abuse Brawlers glove for how cheap it was, you can no longer build multiple of them and reap the benefits. Now you can only get one at a time essentially because the passive is unique. They are also adding another new item in the upcoming patch. It's called Spear of Shogun. It gives 65 AD, 200 health, and 10% cooldown reduction. Already this sounds like a much better item than Atma's Reckoning by far. This item has 2 unique passives and they are both very strong. Expect to see this item built a lot on bruiser champions like Riven, Irelia, Fiora, things like that. So the first passive, you gain damage reduction against champions' attacks and abilities equal to 10 flat plus 15% of your bonus attack damage. So if you have 135 attack damage and then you build this item, you'll have 200. Then with its first unique passive, it'll give you its base 10 plus now 30 bonus damage reduction away from champions' attacks and abilities. That's a lot if you think about it. It's basically like a super Dorn shield. Its next passive makes you extremely tanky whenever you're near at least 3 enemy champions. It's called Dragon's Heart. Whenever you are near 3 enemy champions and you take damage, for the next 6 seconds, you'll block 200% more damage. And then whenever you get a takedown, it will reset. that is really strong. So if you stack AD on a champion like Riven, who scales off of it anyways, and then you build this item for your third or fourth item, you're gonna be a monster. I don't really understand why Riot keeps trying to buff bruisers. Right now, bruisers are the strongest thing by far in the top lane. And tanks in the jungle aren't very strong unless you count Trundle as a tank. So I don't really think this item is needed. Or at the very least, if they are going to make this item that strong, which is crazy, I really hope they nerf this, they're going to probably need to nerf Conqueror. Because a champion like Irelia with this item is going to be really, really gross in the mid and late game. But I mean, seriously, who would want to buy an Atma's Reckoning, which costs 2,900 gold, when you can spend 100 more gold on Spear of Shogun, and it's way, way stronger. It gives more stats, and its passes are by far better. One interesting change that I'm not sure how I feel about is going to be affecting towers, and its main goal is to make it easier to whittle away and break inhibitor turrets and to break base turrets, because if you didn't know, inhibitor turrets and your Nexus turrets all regenerate. Those are the only two kinds of turrets that do regenerate. However, they regenerate very slowly, very, very slowly. If someone gets it down to 100 HP, it's going to take over 20 minutes for it to heal all of that back. It takes a very long time. So this is something I'm not quite sure how I feel about. When champions like Tryndamere and Irelia are already really strong and no one can match them in a split push, making it easier for them to break turrets isn't my idea of a good change. So basically what they're doing is they're going to be cutting turrets up into 3 chunks of health, kind of like how in Overwatch, whenever you go to capture a point, you can whittle it away section by section in an individual point whenever you're capturing it. Anyways, they're going to be breaking it up into 3 sections. They're going to be breaking it from 33% to 0%, 66% to 33%, and 100% to 67%. And what this means is if you're breaking a turret and you get it down to 79% HP, that turret will slowly regen and it will eventually get back up to 100% HP. If you get a turret all the way down to 50% HP, at its very max, it'll only regenerate up to a max of 66% HP. I personally don't like this idea that much because split pushing champions already give me a massive headache, and it's mainly around helping out champions that whittle away at your turrets. I do think this will definitely be a buff for things like ZZ Rot Portal and Banner of Command, so champions like Singed might see a slight increase in win rate. Riot's looking into nerfing Fleet Footwork once again. It's just too strong of a keystone to take. You see every single AD carry taking it 9 out of 10 times, especially in higher elo. Virtually every single AD carry takes it except for Ezreal. He's the only one. He takes Kleptomancy. It gives too much sustain, and the fact that it also gives movement speed still makes it good in the late game. So what they want to do is take away some of its sustain, and it's lowering it on minions from 30% to 20%. I really hope this change goes through, and I think it'll be beneficial for all aspects of the game. Right now, the only viable AP jungler is Evelynn. KingStix is a horrible jungler right now. Echo isn't that great at it. Neither is Diana or really any other AP champion in the jungle. So they are going to be giving Runic Echoes a decent buff by giving it 10 AP. By no means is this going to make KingStix jungle viable. It is pretty much just going to make Evelynn better, which isn't going to improve the situation of AP junglers. It's just going to keep Evelynn towards the top where she already is. If they want to make the other AP junglers viable, they need to give them a specific stat or a specific functionality in the jungle that helps them clear it faster and more efficiently. Speaking of AP junglers needing a buff, Elise is getting a decent buff. She's having her movement speed increased by 5. Her Spiderling's base movement speed is being increased by 5. And the damage on her W is being highly increased, especially in the later ranks. At rank 1, it's going from 55 to 60, and at rank 5, it's going from 215 to 240. All these changes combined will make Elise a little bit better. Right now, Elise is sitting at the 25th jungle position. I don't think this is going to be enough of a change to even get her in the top 15. Since they are also buffing Runic Echoes, these smaller Elise buffs will probably be enough to get her into the top 15. I don't know if it's enough to get her into the top 10, but moving from space 25 into top 15 is a pretty big deal. And finally, we have 2 new skins being added. The first one is Dark Waters Diana. She actually looks a lot like MF in this picture, but if you look at her sword, that's kind of what gives it away. I think it looks really, really dope, and it looks like she's either drowning somebody or saving somebody, but from the look on her face, she's most likely drowning them. And then the second skin we have is Dark Waters Vladimir. He looks really dope. Instead of being all about blood, it looks like he's into water, and it looks like he's pulling water out of people, which I think is really, really cool. Definitely an awesome Vladimir skin. I'm really surprised Riot didn't release a Dark Waters Teemo skin. I assume they would have if they already didn't have the Devil Teemo skin, but since they already have that out of the way, they're probably going to wait a little bit until they put out a Dark Teemo skin. And that is going to wrap up the interesting changes coming up in the next patch. If you guys enjoyed this video and want to support the channel, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. My name is KingStix. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Yeah.